confidence. Effortlessly, you let them know who is in command. You just that and more. Don't forget it. God worked hard on you for sure. Lexus, Exodus. Shout out to my exes.
Y'all black females out here, y'all don't understand the struggles of being a black man out here in America and not knowing whether or not you gonna make it home to your children every night because of the police gunning you down.
But don't y'all be out here gunning each other down?
Okay, but we ain't talking about that.
Well, don't y'all be rapping about killing each other in music?
We ain't talking about that either. We can talk about killing each other in rap music, but we don't like the police killing us. Stay on subject, woman.
You brought up your kids. Tyrone, you don't even see your kids.
And then, yeah, I be trying to see my kids. You know my baby mamas be tripping because I don't want to be with none of them, so they be holding my kids from me. You know that.
Okay, but your baby mama saying you don't get them no child support either.
Okay, but I still be going out my way to try to see them.
They live 5 minutes from my house, Tyrone.
That is out my way, woman. See, y'all, that's why we don't like y'all black women's mouths. Y'all run y'all mouth too much. Y'all always bringing up stuff that's irrelevant.
Well, was you cheating on me irrelevant?
I only cheated on you 10 times. You act like I do it every day, bruh. See, that's why we date women of other races, man.
Hey, boos, hey. It is Lexus Exodus, leader of the Black Woman Exodus. How are y'all doing? And like always, if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe. Please share. Please comment in the comment section. Say what's up to me in the chat. Let me know that you all are listening. Also, when you have a moment, please do me a favor and follow my backup channel. It is called LexX. That is LEXEX. And you'll also see the link in the description below. Also, when you have a moment, please follow me on all my socials. You can find me at Lexus Exodus everywhere. That includes Facebook and Instagram. Also on TikTok, even though they tried to cancel your girl, I'm back. So please take a second and follow me on my social media platforms. I'd love to see you guys over there. This is another installment of my series called the Blackistan Zoo, where we profile the dusty derelicts, crazy creatures, and animals in Blackistan. Tonight, I want to talk about your dusty trolls, okay? And you'll find them hiding behind computer screens, couch surfing, trolling from their mother's basements. They are very ugly. They're out of shape. They have these beer pot bellies. They are unattractive and have receding hairlines and empty pockets. And they're miserable. So all they do is troll divestors all damn day. Okay. So divested women, we really just be minding our business, y'all. So we be sitting pretty, being hydrated, resting in our femininity, living our best divested lives, being loved on, being poured into. When once every blue moon, we'll see in the news a Black woman who's a swirler lose her life. And the nignogs go ape-ish. I mean, they lose their. Next thing you know, they're flooding divested women's comment sections, trolling. For some reason, they really enjoy frequenting places they are not wanted, but they'll be gloating and relishing in the deaths of Black women simply because they happen at the hands of a non-Black man. So they'll troll talking about Lauren Smith Fields, and more recently, they'll bring up Asia Maynard. They've been inundating my comment section with Asia's name, although these are anomalies. These are rarities. These happen once every blue moon. These are abnormalities, okay? So when I think about women who have died in a similar manner over the past few years, these two names are the only names I can think of where Black women were victimized at the hands of non-Black men. Meanwhile, I can think of hundreds of Black women who had their lives tragically taken from them at the hands of a dusty just over the past few months alone. I mean, my inbox is literally flooded with these stories. I can't keep up with them. There's so many that you guys send me. Okay. So they're offing Black women once every 5.5 hours. We know Black women are being taken out by dusties. It's so common that one is literally losing her life as we speak, tragically. And according to the FBI, several thousand Black women lose their lives yearly, and 90% of these crimes are committed at the hands of these men who like to troll divested women's comment sections. Okay, so it's clear that this is just a scare tactic, all right? They're intimidated by real men. You know, we know that they're subjugated, they're dominated, so they get triggered and hot and bothered when they see Black women opting for other groups of men. All right. This is just based on their insecurities and their complexes about being inadequate in comparison to other groups of men. So they'll cherry pick these one-off stories about Black women being victimized by white men, but will completely ignore the astronomical rates of femicide that Black women suffer at the hands of Dusties every damn day. Okay. So before we get into it, I want to be very clear on my stance on this, because I know that detractors will try to misconstrue my words. Black women being victimized by anyone is never okay. Let me be very clear. Regardless of race, the victimization of Black women is wrong. Period. And this is why I tell Black women to divest and vet. You need to do both. I don't care if he's white, Black, blue, or purple. There's crazies in every race. However, I do want to point out how this type of victimization occurs much more commonly and at a disproportionate rate at the hands of dusty men. Okay, so dusty trolls will inundate my comment section about these very rare deaths of Black women at the hands of white men. When we see this type of victimization occurring much more commonly at the hands of the dusties in Blackistan. All right, so let's get into this. And I want to really illustrate my point with real-time examples of what I'm talking about. But first off, before I do that, I do want to talk about Asia Maynard, who the Dusties have been trolling divested women's comment sections about because she passed after going on a date with a white man. So let's watch this news clip about Asia and then we will chat. Also, I want to preface this with the trigger warning. A lot of these stories will contain sensitive content. So if you are sensitive to tough topics like this, please proceed with caution.
Jennifer, court records show the judge denied it for, quote, failure to prove facts of alleged abuse. Now, the judge also advised Taylor and her husband in his ruling on what else they needed to do. You're looking at copies of the order of protection requested by 29-year-old Taylor McFadden Robinson, filed against her husband, Duncan Robinson Jr. Police say Robinson killed his wife of 7 years Sunday morning at her home in Florence. Her family is just devastated.
To say that her life was cut short in this matter, something I can never get over, my family.
I poured over the thick file of records in family court where I found Taylor's order of protection that she filed for last March. An emergency hearing took place within 24 hours. The order details what Taylor says led her to ask for protection against her husband. A paragraph in the order says, quote, on this day, March 23rd, 2021, Duncan came over to my home demanding the kids. He followed me after repeatedly being told to leave the premises. I called the police on March 21st. Duncan came to drop the kids off. He blocked my car in and entered my home without permission. On March 12th, Duncan broke my back door after kicking in repeatedly to attempt to enter my home. She said on March 9th, he tried to fight the contractor on her property, and on March 15th, tried to run her over with his car. The judge wrote in its notes that, quote, parties were advised to get attorneys and file divorce action. Differences appear to be over children. Those who work within the court system say you have to prove to a judge that you're in fear of your life to be granted an order of protection. Taylor's sister shared her frustration during Robinson's bond hearing Monday about the denial of the protection order.
The system has failed us. My sister asked for a restraining order, and the judge denied it.
Court records show the couple had a final divorce hearing set for next month right here at the Florence County Judicial Center. A judge has denied bond for Robinson. He remains in jail.
Okay, so this poor lady was taken out by her ex Dusty, and the system clearly failed her. She even asked for a protection order because he stalked and broke into her home. He tried to hit her with his car, y'all, and no one helped her. Now she's no longer with us. And this was done at the hands of a Dusty, y'all. Okay, and this just happened just last month, so I didn't have to dust off the archives and look through old news articles that were outdated. No, this just happened recently. And here, y'all trolls want to talk about the very rare isolated occasion when a Black woman is taken out by a white man. You know, we're still over here talking about Lauren Smithfields. Like, that was some gotcha moment, although 200 Black women have been taken out already by the Dusties this year alone. Okay, let's get into this next story where a Nignog took out another Black woman because she denied him entrance to a club in Milwaukee. Let's watch this.
Milwaukee police flooded into downtown after a man opened fire at the entrance to the Brownstone Social Club on Water Street, where he'd just been denied entrance. 31-year-old Crystal Tucker, working the front door, was killed. Two co-workers, both 23-year-old men, were wounded but will survive.
I don't know why somebody would do this, you know? Like, I don't understand.
Tucker's close friend came to the scene to see for himself.
She never harmed anybody. She's just a harmless person, you know? And she loved everybody. Everybody loved her. It's just...
On Facebook, the Brownstone Road hit, quote, prides itself on being a safe haven for Black professionals, restricting access to anyone under 27, quote, to avoid the far too often unpredictable violence associated with that demographic. It states their 3 workers, quote, fell prey to a shooter who was denied access.
It's your girl, KT. What's poppin'?
We've learned Crystal co-hosted a podcast where she was known as KT, and in an episode recorded the night before she was killed, they talked about concerns over crime in Milwaukee.
Jungle
Talk
out
about
here,
cutthroat.
Man. A jungle.
It's too cutthroat in these Milwaukee streets.
And now it seems those fears have tragically been realized.
I just hope justice is served, you know, they catch this guy and, you know, so that her death just won't go in vain, you know.
Nick joining us once again. Where are police in their search for the shooter?
Toy, he is still on the loose tonight, but police telling us they're not releasing his name or his photo because they say they know who they are looking for. It's believed that a number of security cameras like those outside here helped lead them to that suspect.
Nick Bull reporting live for us tonight. Thank you.
Okay, so this just happened just a few weeks ago, y'all. Okay, and the nigga took her out because she wouldn't let him inside a club. And here's my thing. It's one thing that these stories are so violent and so vile. This is senseless violence at that. He took this woman's life just because he couldn't get into the club. Like, you mean to tell me you wanted to drink and party and bullish so much so that that was worth this woman's life? Yet divested women being taken out by white men is Black women's biggest problem here. Although we're being taken out, thousands of us being taken out every year. That's our biggest threat. White men. That's our biggest predator. Child, I can't. So let's keep going. I want to get into this next story from last month where a man took out a woman, then stuffed her body in a bin. And guess who the suspect is? Her dusty-ass cousin. So let's watch this.
Tonight, there is a disturbing twist in a gruesome crime. A young mother found dead, her decomposing body found inside a plastic bin. And we've learned tonight the NYPD is holding a family member as a person of interest right now. News 4's Anjali Hemphill live in East Harlem where the young mother lived. Anjali?
Gilma, the victim's apartment building where she was last seen is just a couple blocks away from the 23rd precinct here, where sources tell us her cousin is now being questioned after they say he was seen on camera in the area lugging around a large, heavy plastic container. Chilling new details tonight as law enforcement sources reveal to News 4 Nisa Walcott's cousin is now being questioned in her gruesome death. Her decomposing body found 1 day earlier in a plastic bin on a Bronx sidewalk. Senior law enforcement sources tell News 4 they've seen surveillance video from the East Harlem building where Walcott lived that shows her entering the building and never coming back out. They say it also shows a man identified as Walcott's cousin carrying a large, heavy plastic container up to the roof and then later returning sometime after midnight Friday, this time with another man who sources say is shown helping him take the bin down to the street where it's believed the two loaded it into a car. And sources say more surveillance video from nearby the crime scene in the Bronx shows the two men removing the container and pushing the bin to where it was eventually discovered Friday afternoon. Sources go on to say Walcott's cousin also sent text messages to her family members to throw them off.
We were trying to find her and we didn't want to find her like this.
The 35-year-old social worker disappeared last week. Friends and family had posted about it on social media, hoping for a better outcome. Loved ones now mourning her death and trying to process why this happened.
She was a beautiful person. She was a hard worker. She was a single mother. She worked hard for everything. She was an entrepreneur, and she didn't deserve this.
The man being questioned by police has not been identified. It's also not clear if police are now searching for a possible second person of interest. As of now, no one is facing charges. Live in East Harlem, Anjali Hemphill, News 4 New York.
Y'all, they found her foot sticking out a bin. That's how they found her, y'all. Okay. And she was a mother, a social worker, and an entrepreneur. And her own damn cousin discarded her like trash. So this is what I mean. Y'all not going to gaslight me and troll me in the comment section or scare Black women about interracially dating like they should be terrified of other groups of men. And things like this is happening on a regular basis. And let me be clear again, because y'all like to misconstrue my words. You should vet all men. Everybody. I don't care if he's Black, white, Asian, blue, or purple. Vet his ass thoroughly. Do not trust anyone right off the bat. You know, I care deeply anytime any Black woman is victimized in this manner. But stop trying to weaponize the deaths of Lauren Smith Fields and Asia Maynard against divested women when Dusties are Black women's biggest predator. Okay, the FBI data shows this. The CDC data shows this. Black femicides data shows this. We are dying every day. And in 90% of those cases, Dusties are the culprit, not other groups of men. This would be like us talking about the panoramic, and us talking about how so many people have tragically died because of this. And someone saying, oh, well, people get struck by lightning too. People die from lightning. It's like, yeah, Nick Dog, we know, but that's very uncommon. That's an anomaly. Okay, let's focus on the real problem here. Let's focus on the recurrent themes. Let's focus on the trends. Let's focus on what's happening regularly. Black women are not being taken out at an astronomical rate at the hands of other groups of men. 90% of them are being taken out by Dusties. So miss me with that. Okay, so I want to keep going and talk about another story that just happened a few days ago, y'all, where a woman had her life taken from her simply because she accidentally hit a Nignog's car. And this is what I mean, this senseless violence is pointless. This don't make no sense. Okay, so let's watch this.
Two men accused of a woman who crashed into their car last month have been charged with murder. Thomas Shelton and Douglas Shelton Heron are each charged with first. St. Louis police say Lakeisha Stokes sideswiped a Jaguar parked on the side of a road and crashed into another car on February 11th. They say Shelton and Shelton Heron and another man got out of the Jaguar and fired several shots into Stokes' car.
Y'all see this disgusting ass bull? This just happened days ago, y'all. So the real threat here is glaringly apparent. Yeah, white men hurt Black women sometimes. Abuse is never okay. Victimization of Black women is never okay. However, that's an anomaly. That's an abnormality. What happens much more commonly is Black women being taken out by Dusties daily. Okay? So you can save your breath trolling my comment section with those comments. Because when you look at the data, it's clear who is the real threat here. Okay, let's get into this next one from just a few days ago. And this woman here was honoring the anniversary of her son's death due to gun violence when she herself lost her life due to gun violence as well. This is just disgusting, but this happens daily. I'm telling y'all, like, look at my inbox. Look at my inbox. Do y'all see all these stories that I haven't even been able to get to? All these crime stories that I haven't been able to get to because this happens so commonly. Look, we see tons from February, from just a few days ago. Okay, so let's get into this next story that really illustrates this point, how this is happening regularly.
In the Oliver Street shooting Saturday night has been identified.
40-year-old LaShondra Denise McDowell of Lima, Ohio, died of a gunshot wound to the torso. Her death ruled a McDowell was hosting an Angelversary to mark 3 years since the death of her 18-year-old son, DeMarcus Hale Jr. He died in a shooting that has not yet been solved. A family friend says there was no fighting among the invited guests and the victims were innocent bystanders. We're told the shooters entered through the back door. In addition to the woman, 2 men were taken to the hospital. Their identities have not yet been released. Police say they still need more details from the public. If you have information, you're asked to contact police.
What a sad story. Oh, the irony. Oh, the fucking irony. So here we have this poor woman mourning the angelversary of her 18-year-old son, whose life was taken because he was shot by a Dusty. While she was mourning this and honoring his death, these Dusties run up on her and take her life as well. But we should be worried about swirling and divesting, right? Interracial dating is Black women's biggest threats. When both this woman's 18-year-old son is gone, and now she's gone, 40 years old, at the hands of a Dusty. Here's another. Y'all want to keep going? We could be here all night, y'all. This one is from February 28th, so not even a week old, y'all. This is what I mean. These stories are endless. We could be here all night if I really went through and addressed every single instance of a Black woman losing her life at the hands of the men in this community.
She was a single mom. Like, it was always her and her son, you know, through everything. That was her world, her rock.
Chanel Marshall Sewell says her sister, LaShawn Marshall, is gone. She was the youngest of 9 siblings.
She was one of the best comedians you could ever meet. Like, she always busted a joke. Like, her personality was so silly and goofy.
Yeah. LaShawn's son, 5-year-old Caleb Harris, would be celebrating a birthday next week. Instead, a funeral.
You're a coward because you stole a kid's life. He didn't even get to live to see 6. You know, you stole everything from him and his mom.
Detroit police have a 16 and 17-year-old, both males, in custody in connection to this trip. Caleb, LaShawn, and her boyfriend, Aaron Benson, were found shot to death at their home on Detroit's west side Sunday.
It hits different for us because we were here 3 months ago.
What Chanel means is their mother was shot and killed on her porch in Detroit last October. Her killer is still out there. They're grieving on top of grieving. A loss for this family and for the advocacy group, passionate to LaShawn's heart to end poverty.
She grew up in foster care, you know, and she got involved in doing that because that's where her heart was at. You know, she wanted to be able to help the kids and the community.
LaShawn traveled to the nation's capital multiple times with this group, trying to change laws, fighting for a better life for her son.
She wanted to tell her story so that people in Washington, D.C. and Congress could understand.
This family wants to bury mother and son together. They started a GoFundMe page to make that happen. You can find the link with this story on our website. Jessica Dupnack, Fox 2 News.
Y'all. So a 16-year-old and 17-year-old did this. This don't make no mother effing sense. So this young woman is gone. She was taken out by Tyrone. The boyfriend is gone. And they've even tragically taken the life of the baby, y'all. This happened just last week. And to top it off, the family talks about how her mother was taken out as well. But Black women, you should be terrified of white men, y'all. You should be terrified of white men. It's like, who do y'all think is trying to protect the victims of this violence that y'all inflict on everybody? The police, the white man. Who you think is investigating and bringing justice to these victims? Okay, but you should be terrified of non-Black men. All right, let's get into this next story. Another one from just a few days ago where a woman was taken out by her baby daddy who shot her in front of their 10-year-old. This is so depressing.
Good morning, Eric. One child found safe, another in the hospital this morning, and police are still searching for the man they say is responsible for killing a woman. Around 10 p.m. last night, the Amber Alert for 2-year-old Kaysen Gordon was canceled after police say he was safely found. The suspect is allegedly the 2-year-old boy's father, Christopher Gordon. Investigators say the search started after a reported shooting on the 4100 block of Quiet Way around 4 p.m. on Sunday. When officers arrived, that's where they found Kaysen's mother shot and another 10-year-old boy. Unfortunately, the woman was pronounced dead at the scene. The 10-year-old boy is at the hospital receiving treatment. Police are still looking for Christopher Gordon. They were able to find his truck last night in the Taylor Boulevard area. Anyone with any information that could help in solving this case is asked to call police. Haley.
See what I mean? And here, yet, meanwhile, I can only name 2 women taken out by white men in recent years. But my inbox is flooded daily with thousands of women who have had their lives taken at the hands of Dusties. I can't keep up with them, y'all. I get these stories every day. There was just one that DZ reported about that's way too graphic and way too explicit and triggering about a woman being beaten with a metal pole by one of these fools. And the Dusties just sitting there watching, recording. You know, and it's like, I don't even got to look at the news to see how glaring this problem is within the community. My own uncle did this fuck shit. He went to prison for years for attempted N-wording because he shot his wife. So this is Black women's biggest threat. The men within the community. All right, here's another one where a woman was recently taken out because the Dusty got mad that he was kicked out a club.
Right now at 5:30 and only on 10, we are hearing from heartbroken family members of a single mom who was caught in the crossfire of a bar shooting. The victim was working as a security guard at that club when a man who had been kicked out came back with a gun.
And now we're learning more about that hardworking mother from her grieving relatives. Local 10's Rosh Lowe live now with our one and only exclusive. Rosh.
This is such a heartbreaking story on so many levels. This was a 34-year-old woman. Her whole life was her children, and that's why she worked around the clock as an entrepreneur and as a security club at this bar and grill behind me. But on Super Bowl Sunday, when a patron was kicked out, cops say that patron came back and it cost this woman her life.
They told me my baby didn't survive.
The pain of a mother speaking about her daughter, Sharday Hannah.
Not her. You see these things on the news, but you never think it'll be your child.
Sharday, 34 years old, was a mother of 3 boys, ages 16, 14, and 4. She was a single mom. She was a security guard. She worked around the clock to support her family. She was working the night of February 13 at Studio 183, a bar and grill in Miami Gardens.
He said he was going to shoot the club up, and he left. And they say 5 minutes later, shots rang out.
According to Miami Gardens police, Jarrell Bauman got into an argument with another patron when he was escorted out. He allegedly threatened to come back and shoot up the place.
So she wasn't even really involved in all of this?
She had nothing to do with it at all. She was gunned down inside, like right at the door, at the front door, trying to get inside.
This grieving family buried Sharday Saturday. Her children now left without a mom.
I took a baby to school this morning. He said, "You gonna pick me up, Auntie?" I said, "Yes." Tell Sharday to pick me up. He was talking to his grandmother, And she asked him what was wrong. He said, I'm so sad. I'm just sad. She asked him why he was sad. He said, they shot Sade.
Think about those words for a moment from a 4-year-old boy saying that he wants his mom to pick him up from school. These 3 boys will need help. If you would like to help out this family that this mother dedicated her life to, go to our website, local10.com, where a GoFundMe page has been set up. We're live tonight in Miami Gardens. I'm Roshlo, Local 10 News.
But we need to talk about Asia Maynard, right? Lawrence Smith Fields, right? We should be afraid of white men and non-black men, although niggas is taking us out once every 5.5 damn hours. Every damn day, multiple times a day. We dropping like flies. So do y'all see what I mean here? Because again, all these stories happened recently. This last one just happened February 28th, not even a week ago. So you trolls will come to my comment section and will cite these rare instances of black women who lost their lives at the hands of other groups of men. Although this is extremely uncommon. Okay? It's awful, but it doesn't happen often at all. Meanwhile, they taking us out once every 5.5 hours. Okay? That means that literally a black woman is losing her life in America right now at the hands of one of these men. And these are all stories that just happened recently over the last few weeks. And I haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg. So shout out to Black Femicide, who studies this problem daily. I encourage you to go to her page and follow and to support her. I'm just looking at the past few weeks, the victims that have lost their lives at the hands of these fools. So we have Aliyah Walker Travis, we have Tiara Harris, we have Latoria Waller, we have Ashley Darrington, we have Monique Horton, we have Janiyah Simmons. This was the last 48 hours, y'all. The last 48 hours. So I just named 6 off the rip that have passed in the last 2 days at the hands of these men. Do you see what I mean? So don't come to my page with your miserable ass trying to weaponize the deaths of Lawrence Smith Fields and Asia Maynard. Don't do it. My heart goes out to their families. If there is foul play involved, the culprits need to be prosecuted at the fullest extent. Period. But still, these kinds of tragedies are extremely uncommon. We are dropping like flies at the hands of men within the community. One of us is gone every 5.5 hours. So lying like the Dusties in this community are our biggest threat. It's wrong. It's intellectually dishonest. It's erroneous. And it's not okay. All right. That's all I got. Until next time. See you guys. Bye.
turntables. If y'all come across a red iPhone, can you please bring it to the sound stage? Red iPhone, appreciate it.